From the best-selling Heroes of History series, Emerald Books presents Milton Hershey, More Than Chocolate, by Janet and Geoff Benge. Read for you by Tim Gregory. For information about other titles from this outstanding series that brings history to life, please visit heroesthenandnow.com or call 800-922-2143. Chapter 1. Failure. Milton Hershey stared gloomily out the window of the train as New Jersey gave way to Pennsylvania. He should have been glad to be heading home, but he was anything but. The huffing of the steam locomotive and the constant thumping of the steel wheels on the rails seemed to compound the gloom he was feeling. He had failed in business yet again. His first failure was a bruising experience, but the second had been crushing. He was supposed to have learned things the first time around that would help him avoid a second failure. But it had not worked out that way. Now Milton was riding the train back to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He hadn't even had enough money to pay to ship his equipment home. Instead, his aunt had sent it freight forward for him, and Milton would have to pay the station master in Lancaster before he could get it back. He supposed he might never be able to redeem the equipment. It wasn't that Milton had not worked hard. He had, sometimes going without sleep for days on end. But no matter how hard he worked, it never seemed to be sufficient. At the end of each month, there was not enough money coming in to match the business's monthly outgoings. Milton slowly sank deeper and deeper into a financial hole, until he could no longer keep up with the rent or pay for the raw materials he needed. At first, Milton's mother's family had helped him financially, and Milton had been glad for their support. But with this second failure, the family's faith in him and their support had been withdrawn. Milton wasn't even sure whether any of his relatives would want to see him when he got back home. Milton had started with such high hopes and had ended with so little. Even he had to admit he seemed to be following his father's path. Henry Hershey had always had great dreams for the future and the fortunes he would make. But his dreams never came to anything. Like the time he moved his young family to the oil fields of western Pennsylvania, determined to strike it rich. Chapter 2. Derry Church. It was January 1862, and 4-year-old Milton Hershey peered out the window of the shanty at the fresh coat of white powder. He marveled at how pretty Oil City, Pennsylvania looked draped in snow. His mother, Fanny, continually told him not to get the oil-slick mud from the settlement's narrow roads on his clothes, but that was an impossible task. A layer of oil seemed to cover every surface in town, including a slick on the nearby Allegheny River. But now the town was all submerged beneath crisp whiteness. Sometimes Milton's mother sat him on her knee and told him of a different place 250 miles away, with green grass, powder blue sky, and cows grazing lazily in the meadows. Milton knew she was talking about the place they had lived before his father, Henry Hershey, had gotten a harebrained idea, as his mother put it. Henry had moved the small family in September 1860 from Derry Church, Pennsylvania, northwest to Oil City to make a fortune in America's first oil boom. Even though Milton was only 4 years old, he was aware of the differences between his parents. His mother worked hard, cooking over a tiny gas flame and saving her pennies in a pocket under her apron. She tried to keep the shanty clean and stuffed old rags into cracks in the wall to keep out the cold. His father, on the other hand, was always laughing and telling stories. He didn't seem to know where the next penny was coming from, and it seemed that he hardly cared. Sometimes Henry would come home from a day of work, not with the money to buy potatoes and corn, but with a book he had accepted
Sample complete. Ready to continue?